Welcome back to Blue Line Outfitters. Today's show is going to be a special episode. It's kind of outside our normal days, but today is going to be Father's Day, so I wanted to make a special episode for my father, John. He was my fishing mentor. I don't remember a time in my life when my dad didn't take me fishing. So he retired a few years ago and hasn't really done a whole lot of trout fishing, even though he spent 20 years as a fishing guide and a manager of a fly shop. So today I finally drug him out of the house and away from his garden and his grass cutting to go fishing for the first time in a few years. So got him out on a local creek and going to try to knock the rust off. But the old man taught me almost everything I knew that I didn't learn by trial and error and getting hung in the rhododendrons by myself. But I'm going to go out fishing with Dad today, and as we go along, I'm going to tell some stories and see what we can do. So stay tuned. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there that's watching. And also, if anybody's got a father out there that took them fishing, go ahead and give them a big hug today if you can, and tell them thanks for taking you fishing, because love of the outdoors is probably the greatest gift that we can give, perhaps, outside of love. So stay tuned and let's watch this unfold. Oh man, it's questioning my leader there.
I don't need a leader. Like somebody did macrame over this one, they're untied knots.
I watched my old man rig up his rod for the first time in a lot of years. He does a lot of warm water fishing, and he also enjoys fishing for panfish with a conventional tackle and some red worms under a bobber, I guess, as well. But seeing him rig up here, he's literally probably done this 10,000 times in his lifetime. He's rigged a lot of rods, but this is the first time in a long time that he's rigged one up. So I enjoyed just sitting here and watching him thread the eyes and tying his fly on. It was also fun to see him be in front of the camera for the first time in a lot of years. He'd actually filmed some TV shows back in the late 1990s, early 2000s time period, so it's not his first time on camera. But he gets real serious, like he's a professional here. That's how my clients normally are. They get hung up a lot, so I start a little longer leader.
I understand that.
Hey, a brand new rod, beat the cap off the end of it.
Yes, all right. Oh, the yellow hunter. I know you're a good yellow stimulator, man.
It's true. I never met a yellow stimulator I didn't love.
They catch some fish.
You want me to hold that up high for you?
No, I got. Well, you might have to. That was one of them without a hook on it.
Oh, you got it.
What is this? 7X?
It's actually 4.
It ain't a 4.
It is.
You better go back and get your money back.
As the old man finishes up his flies here, gets ready to hit the water, I wanted to share a couple of pictures with you. The first is the old man as a child, maybe his first picture with a fish. I'm not sure he actually caught it, but it's a big catfish. Probably came from Tugelo Lake. That was a popular fishing area for his dad as a kid. The next picture is a picture of my dad and I taken at Duke's Creek, probably 1996, 97. And the last photo here is actually a picture of some brown trout from a small creek near our house. Probably the first trout I ever caught. The old man took me fishing. But as we move back to the water, I'm going to watch the old man start to work it through there and knock the rust off. Fly fishing in a small stream is definitely somewhat of a perishable skill, but it's also like riding a bicycle. It doesn't take a whole lot of time after you haven't done it for a while to get the hang of it again. But the picture there of Duke's Creek takes me back. The first time I ever realized my dad was a really, really good fly fisher. We had fished Duke's Creek, which is a trophy managed stream, public trophy managed stream. And I think I'd caught maybe one fish all morning. And we had another guy with us, and he'd only caught one or two maybe. And as we got towards the end of our morning session, there was a long, slow pool that had 3 fish laying in the back of it. And the old man eased up there with his, he had I believe an 8.5 foot 5-weight eagle claw yellow rod that he had owned 112 years. And he eased up there with a teleco nymph with no weight on it at all, just one single fly, no weight, and sight fished and caught all 3 of those fish in about 5 casts. And that was probably the first time I had realized exactly how great a fly fisherman he really was.
You put it where it needed to be. Been pretty slow this morning. This creek normally is very, very good. We've seen a few fish, had a few hit, but overall pretty slow. Oh, hit him. Oh! Whoosh! Whoosh! Got a little loose coming out of 4 there. So you got a little loose coming out of 4 there.
As well, actually, the old man prospect up the creek here, remembering how to get a drag-free drift, remembering where those wild trout lay. I'm going to share a few more pictures with you. The first ones are going to be from some private water. My dad was one of the first full-time fishing guides, and about the time he got to become a full-time fishing guide and started his own business called Back and Beyond, he started working on the Sequoia River. So one of the perks of that was when there was nobody else fishing, he got to take me fishing. So here's probably one of the best, or one of the earliest 2-foot long rainbow trout I ever caught as a skinny kid. Love to have that body back now. And the old man there with no mustache, that's a pretty rare photo of him. But we also went to Canada. This is a picture of the pike the old man caught. Of course, he caught the biggest fish on the trip. That was a really fun trip with a good friend and my dad. We actually stayed at a lodge and caught some trophy brook trout on that trip as well. So got to check off catching a monster brook trout.
You gotta be
Here
ready
the
for
old
the hook when that
man's,
fly hits the water.
you see him starting to lean over and get into it at this point. If there's anything about a fly fisherman, and it's not a necessarily competitive sport, but you really get into it and want to catch that fish if you've done it a lot. So I could tell as I watched the old man starting to fish, he was getting back into the hang of things. And it wasn't really necessarily about just, he really wanted to get a fish back in his hand, I could tell. So we just kept chugging along at it. And the fishing this morning was actually a little slower than normal. It's been extremely hot in Georgia. And I'm not sure if that affected the fish or fishing pressure or what, but on this small stream on this morning, they were pretty spooky and not super active. But I knew that with someone that has 50 years of fly fishing experience, it wouldn't take long before we could find a fish.
I think it has a little bit of Trouts right there. Oh, that one's chewing on it underwater. Put up against that green rock. Woo-wee, that's a good cast.
As an adult, the old man got close to retiring from the fly shop, but we actually we traveled a lot. These pictures here are going to be from a trip that we fought cottonmouths down in the swamp in the panhandle of Florida, and caught little tiny warmouth out of a tiny creek and some pretty good sized redbreast out of a bigger creek. But it's amazing we didn't get snake bit or 8-bite alligator on that trip. As I said, the old man likes to panfish, so I threw this picture in. Those are some big shell crackers that he caught out of a local lake. And he always loves fishing at the beach. Every year we go to the beach for a couple of weeks, and the old man gets out every morning at 5 o'clock to go fishing. Takes the grandkids. This is finally a picture with Alex Lunsford and Butch Martin in front of Unicoi Outfitters Fly Shop when the old man had retired. So as we move forward here, I could tell the rust was off, and if you watch this clip, the old man hooked the first one of the day here. It came off, but I knew he was starting to get warmed up. But I also took this chance to ask him one of my favorite questions. So stand by for that.
Oh, there it is. He was in there, just had to put it in the right place. No, it looked decent. It must have been tucked up under the edge of that log over there. Well, at least there's trout in the creek. Hey, John, I wanted to ask you a quick question.
Okay.
What kind of trout are these?
These are wild rainbow trout.
I'm gonna try this again, John. What kind of trout are these?
These are unique trout.
What do you mean by unique?
Unique up on them or you don't catch them.
All right. Man, you're gonna be in those deep pockets. Oh, big fish. Oh.
After the old man had missed several fish here, I knew that we were getting there. That the rust was gone. I could start watching those back cast. I gave him a hard time here. He told him he was a little slow on the draw. But anybody that's ever fished for wild rainbows in North Georgia knows they're probably some of the fastest fish ever. They hit it, spit it out, and they're gone in a matter of an eye. But it wouldn't take long. And the old man would finally knock the skunk off for the first time in many, many years.
There you go. Ooh, that's a decent one. Stay with him, John boy. Success. Ooh-wee. Good looking fish.
Honestly, fish. And flies out that way.
Yeah, it's a,
Be good to go.
yes, sir.
You got enough of her?
Yeah. Hey.
You take a picture of him, he's quick.
John, good job.
It took long enough.
It
really
did.
It took long enough.
Nothing like two professional fishing guys fighting off a skunk, though.
But we got it off our back now.
We did. I really think we fished behind somebody a ways.
I think we have too. I do.
So let's go get a few more, 2 more holes here, and we'll call our day.
Alrighty. Fish. Man, there was a good one in there. There he is. Yes. Oh, yes. Best catch that's made all day.
So yeah, North Georgia Red Band.
Yeah.
Easy as we can.
Okay.
Well, folks, that's going to be it for today's show here with Dad. We actually really tough fishing today, but we stayed with it. Got a couple fish in the net, so that's what it takes sometimes, changing flies and keep fishing. So if you watched this far, really appreciate it. So Dad, happy Father's Day.
Thanks, son.
So
Happy Father's Day to you.
happy Father's Day to all the other dads out there. See you next time.
So if you watched to the end, I hope you enjoyed a little journey through my father's fishing life. There's a lot more stories I could tell there. But to Dad, he watches all the episodes, so happy Father's Day. I love you. Thanks for taking me fishing. To all the other dads, I hope you have a great day. And if you dads have little ones, get them out on the water. Thanks from Blue Line Outfitters. Have a great day.